Welcome to the Kentucky Retirement System's KERS Hazardous Petition online tutorial. This tutorial was developed to help state and quasi-state agencies properly complete the paperwork associated with petitioning the KRS Board of Trustees for hazardous duty coverage. In order for a position to be approved for hazardous duty coverage under the Kentucky Employees Retirement Systems, or KERS, it must meet the definition of hazardous duty as stated in Kentucky Revised Statute 61.592. An agency has the right to petition the KRS Board of Trustees for hazardous duty coverage for any position within their agency, and this definition is the guideline that the KRS Board uses to determine if the incoming position should be approved or denied for hazardous duty coverage. Once an agency is ready to begin the process to petition the KRS Board for hazardous duty coverage, the agency should first reach out to their ERCE team representative. If you do not know your ERCE team representative, you can call the general hotline and speak to any team representative for assistance. The ERCE team representative will provide information on the petitioning process, the due dates, and the hazardous duty contribution rates for both the agency and the employee. They will also send you the hazardous duty packet that will need to be completed and returned to the ERCE team representative before the assigned due date. The KRS Board of Trustees will review all submitted hazardous duty petitions during the quarterly board meetings held in February, May, September, and November. However, these dates are subject to change. In order for a hazardous petition to be presented to the board, it must be correctly completed and turned into the ERCE division by the due date provided to the agency by the ERCE representative. The hazardous duty packet contains multiple forms that need to be completed and requires additional information be provided by the agency. It is strongly encouraged that the agency return this packet to the ERCE division before the due date in case any revisions are needed on the forms. If a revision is needed and the corrected paperwork is not back by the due date, there is a chance that your petition request will have to be deferred and be presented at the next quarterly board meeting, which could result in a later effective date on the coverage for the position. Let's review the forms and additional information that will make up the hazardous duty packet. When an agency petitions for hazardous duty coverage, the agency must complete the Hazardous Participation Certification Form 7013. When entering the information for the effective date of coverage, remember the effective date of coverage must be the first day of the month, and the earliest date of coverage is the first month after the KRS Board meeting. By completing and signing this form, the agency head and budget officer are verifying they will comply with the laws and regulations related to hazardous duty participation, including but not limited to reporting all employees hired to the approved position as hazardous duty and paying the appropriate contribution rates for each position approved. State agencies under the 18A Department of Personnel statutes must also provide a letter from the Governor's Office of Policy and Management stating that the current budget allows for the hazardous duty contribution amount for the positions being petitioned. On agency letterhead, please provide a list of the position titles that the agency would like to have approved for hazardous duty coverage. The title needs to match exactly the title as it is found on the job description and position questionnaire. Also included on this letter needs to be a list of all the employees currently holding a job in the position that is going before the KRS Board for hazardous duty coverage. Please provide the employee's name, social security number, job position title, and for the 18A state agencies, the unique 8-digit job ID code created by the Department of Personnel to identify the position title has been permitted for hazardous duty coverage. This position title and employee listing is a very good place to add any additional information you would like to present to the KRS Board for the petition. For example, if you wish to request a retroactive effective date, please include the date and the explanation why an earlier date is being requested on this letterhead. Additionally, if the agency is petitioning for a newly created position, that title needs to be on the list of job titles. But if there are no employees currently in that position at the time of the petition, please make a note of that within the employee list. A copy of the job description from the agency is required to accompany the hazardous duty petition for each title going before the KRS Board. This job description should be the driving force behind the position title the agency is petitioning, as the title provided on the job listing, position questionnaire, and the employee HP2 form should exactly match the title as it is identified on the agency's job description. A position questionnaire, Form 7025, must be completed for every position being petitioned to receive hazardous duty coverage. The state KERS agencies need to complete Section 1 and Section 3 only of this form. In Section 1, provide the name of the agency and the position title, then mark the yes-no indicators as required. Failure to complete the yes-no indicators will result in the form being incomplete and return to the agency for more information. In Section 3, provide the name of the agency and the position title. The agency then needs to list a duty the employee does while at work and provide a percentage of time that this duty is performed along with a brief description of the duty. Do not use the position title as a duty title. You must break the job down into actual duties performed by an employee while in that position. The percentages cannot equal more than 100% in Section 3. The duties shown here are for illustrative purposes only and can vary from one position to another. Please note, this information is what will be reviewed by the KRS Board to make the determination whether the position should or should not be approved for hazardous duty coverage, so please be as detailed as possible in your descriptions. If you determine you need more space, you may make extra copies of Section 3 for the additional job duties. The employer name must be provided in each section along with the position title, and the title must be identical to the title on the job description and on the position title list. The agency head is the only signature allowed and must be provided on both pages, and if additional copies of Section 3 have been submitted, those must also contain the signature of the agency head. The final form in the Hazardous Duty packet is the Hazardous Duty Certification HP2 Form 2011, which must be completed on each person employed in a position that is being petitioned for hazardous duty coverage. The title of the position must match the title as it has been submitted on the position listing, job description, and position questionnaire, and the effective date cannot be prior to the effective date of hazardous duty coverage for the position title as provided on the Form 7013. Statute also requires a physical examination be performed within 12 months of the effective date of coverage, and a copy of the physical exam is requested to accompany the Form 2011. If the employee does not have a KRS member ID, the agency may provide the employee's Social Security number in its place, but do not leave this field blank. This form may be signed by the agency head or the agency reporting official. For our quasi-state agencies, if the division chief is an authorized signature with the Kentucky Retirement Systems, they may sign this form in place of the agency head and reporting official. You will note the effective date of coverage on the Form 2011 must also match the employment begin date reported electronically to KRS on the monthly report for the position title. If the dates do not match, the agency will be contacted to verify the correct date, and the Form 2011 will be invalid until the date is verified. And now some final facts and reminders regarding the Hazardous Petition packet. If a packet is not completed in its entirety, or if there are errors on any of the documents, the packet will be returned to the employer to correct with no extension to the due date. The position title must be identical between the position title list, job description, position questionnaire, and the Employee Hazardous Duty Certification form. The hazardous effective date of coverage must be the first day of a month after the board meeting, unless specifically requested in writing, and must be identical on all paperwork. Retroactive effective dates cannot be guaranteed approval by the KRS Board. Hazardous duty coverage is granted by position, not person, and once a position is approved, any person hired into that position is under the hazardous duty coverage for the longevity of the position. If your agency head is signing forms, make sure they are set up under Contact Persons in Employer Self-Service as the agency head. If an agency has multiple pay grades within a position title and the position duties do not change between grades, consider only petitioning the main title for approval, not each pay grade level. If an agency wishes to have an already approved hazardous position title updated, Send a current job description with a letter requesting the change on the title name. Thank you for reviewing the KERS Hazardous Duty Petition tutorial. If you have any questions about hazardous duty participation, please contact your ERCE team representative or the ERCE hotline at 1-888-696-8810. Thank you.